So it's early in the NBA season. However, I want to share with you my thoughts on the Western Conference so far. Now let's get started. So here, Dribble It Out, we talk about all sorts of NBA related content. I also post highlights every week. So if that is something you're interested in, please consider hitting that subscribe button along with the bell so you can get the latest. In my previous video, I shared my impressions of the Eastern Conference so far, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. But today we're going to talk about the Western Conference, and there are teams that are surprisingly doing good, there are others that are surprisingly doing bad, and there are others that are where they should be, such as the Phoenix Suns, bottom feeding, and the Dallas Mavericks. Now the West is a little different from the East because in the East there are several teams you expect to do bad, but the West is like any team is pretty much like a good team or an all right team at worst. And three teams that I currently am looking at that I see that are unusually low in the conference currently are the Timberwolves, Pelicans, and the Utah Jazz. Currently they are under 500. Now the Timberwolves, we can understand why with all the gruntle and drama of Jimmy Butler. Hey, I went out. No, you're staying. But I don't want to play anymore. You will. New Orleans has Anthony Davis, which is great. And he actually said that he sees himself in a situation where if I don't play great every night, we don't win, which is kind of true. Now, the Lakers are not a good team right now, no matter how you look at it, because even when they've won in an ugly fashion. Like after having a 20-point lead in the last 5 minutes, then it comes down to like a 2-possession game. That's not very good when you have the best player in the game. They're a work in progress, but I'm not gonna get too much into it because I'm actually gonna make a separate video about the Lakers and my impressions on them so far. Now, on the positive note, there are some teams that I'm surprisingly looking at that are doing actually pretty good, like the Sacramento Kings. That's a bottom feeding team that currently has a positive win ratio. Another one are the Clippers, who really don't have any stars or any great players on their team. However, they actually have a winning record. The San Antonio Spurs are right where I expect them to be, even though they don't have Kawhi Leonard. DeRozan is playing great, Aldridge is doing his thing, and I mean, they're coached by Popovich, so there is not much to say there. Now, a team that was surprisingly doing bad were the Houston Rockets. I mean, it's a team that I personally thought that they would be in the Western Conference Finals, and they actually started off pretty bad, like terrible. And we know that there was a lot of changes going on when they lost Ariza, Mabute, if that's how you say it. But they gained Carmelo Anthony. However, they have not been playing well until recently, where they started picking up and starting to play Rockets basketball. This is early in the season, a lot of things can change and they could be back up to par, but they just had a really rough start. Now, the Denver Nuggets at the time of this recording have only lost one game and they're playing phenomenal. The other night, Jamal scored 48 points with a controversial situation where he shot a 3 trying to get to 51. Kyrie Irving wasn't too fond about it, so he shoved the ball into the crowd and got fined $25,000. Nevertheless, they're playing great. Now, the OKC Thunder started off bad, but they're on a 5-game winning streak currently, and they're actually doing pretty good, doing their thing. Westbrook is doing his thing. He was out early because he was recovering from a knee injury. Paul George said that he's playing on a dead foot. I don't know if that's a thing, but he hasn't been playing well, but that might be the reason based on what he says. Oh, yeah. And of course, we have the Golden State Warriors, who are doing what they do, which is get W's and hit threes
and get technical fouls
and make other teams look like they don't belong in the NBA. And as we know, Klay Thompson with the record-setting 14 threes in a game. So they are right where I expected them to be, which is in the top of the conference. Now, of course, as I said in my other video, and I'll say it here, this is very early in the season. These are just my first impressions, and a lot can change at any time. I always say the game is not over until the clock strikes 0. And the same goes with the standings. Those are my thoughts. I want to know yours. Please let me know in the comments what are your impressions so far for the Western Conference. And as always, give it a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, check out my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.